Footballers sometimes get banned for bad tackles, but we've seen some much crazier things on and off the pitch, from actual assaults to drug and betting offences. Here are the longest player suspensions in football history. Enoch West, 30 years. Now, you probably haven't heard of Enoch West. Where have you been? He was a striker for Man United more than 100 years ago. In 1915, the English FA uncovered a major match-fixing scandal involving United and Liverpool. 7 players were given lifetime suspensions, including West, who insisted he was innocent. The 7 men were told their bans would be lifted if they joined the army in the First World War. 6 of them did, but West stayed at home. That meant the end of his football career. The FA eventually lifted the ban in 1945, but by then West was 59. Surprise, surprise, he never played football again. Roberto Rojas, 12 years. This is one of the craziest suspensions of them all. The year was 1989 and Chile were playing Brazil in a crucial World Cup qualifier. It wasn't going all that well for Rojas and his teammates. Chile had to win, but they were losing 1-0 with 20 minutes to go. Suddenly, a Brazilian fan threw a firework on the pitch. Rojas collapsed to the floor. TV cameras showed blood streaming down his face. The match was called off. Rojas was hoping Chile would be awarded the win. But what he didn't realise was that the cameras had captured everything. The keeper hadn't been hit by a firework. The blood came from a razor blade, which he'd hidden in his sock and deliberately cut himself with. Rojas was hit with a lifetime ban, but FIFA lifted it after 12 years, which allowed him to become a manager in Brazil, of all places. Paolo Rossi, 2 years. Paolo Rossi is a superstar in Italy. He won the Golden Boot and Player of the Tournament when the Italians won the World Cup in 1982. 2 years earlier, his career almost went off the rails. Rossi was caught up in the Tottenero betting scandal. He and many others were accused of throwing matches for money. Rossi was initially banned for 3 years, but that was reduced to 2 after he appealed, which meant the striker was back in time for the World Cup in Spain. Joey Barton, 18 months. Joey Barton, the controversial English midfielder, showed there's more than one way to get a lengthy suspension. Barton was near the end of his career in 2017. That was when the FA decided to launch an investigation into his behaviour over the past 10 years. Now, footballers aren't allowed to bet on the sport at any level, but the investigation found that Barton had made 1,260 football bets since 2006. He was fined £30,000 and hit with an 18-month ban that pretty much ended his career. Diego Maradona, 15 months. Diego Maradona is a genuine GOAT candidate. He was similar in style to Lionel Messi, but only on the pitch. Off it, Maradona was quite a lot crazier. The Argentine was a party animal. He started using cocaine while at Barcelona in the 80s and continued taking it at Napoli. In 1991, Maradona got caught. His failed drugs test led to a 15-month ban. Diego made a comeback after serving his punishment, but he was later thrown out of the 1994 World Cup after failing another test. Messi, thankfully, hasn't followed in those footsteps. Mark Bosnich, 9 months. Peter Schmeichel is a Man United legend. After he left the club in 1999, it took years for United to properly replace him. Bosnich was the first man they tried, but Alex Ferguson wasn't convinced and soon sold him to Chelsea. Things went from bad to worse in West London. Bosnich tested positive for cocaine in 2002 and was suspended for 9 months. The incident almost ended the keeper's career, and he didn't play for another club for 6 years. Eric Cantona, 8 months. Eric Cantona was a very special footballer. He was the key to United's early success under Alex Ferguson. He was also a bit of a loose cannon. After being sent off against Crystal Palace in 1995, Cantona was abused by a supporter. Did he laugh the insults off? Well, not exactly. Cantona launched himself into the crowd and kung fu kicked the Palace fan. Not only was he banned from football for 8 months, he was also charged with criminal assault. Rio Ferdinand, 8 months. A drugs test was what got Rio banned too, but his case was a little different. You see, Ferdinand didn't actually fail a test. He was suspended for not taking one. The Man United man said he forgot about his appointment, but the FA weren't impressed. The England team threatened to go on strike in support of their teammate, but it didn't work and Rio was suspended for 8 months by an independent panel. Adrian Mutu, 7 months. Adrian Mutu was one of Roman Abramovich's first signings as Chelsea manager. He had a decent first season at Stamford Bridge, but trouble was on the way once Jose Mourinho was made manager. The Special One once accused Mutu of lying about being injured. Then, in 2005, he tested positive for cocaine and was immediately sacked by Chelsea. Things got worse for Mutu. The FA banned him for 7 months, and he was also ordered to pay Chelsea £15.2 million for breach of contract. All in all, Mutu didn't have a particularly good time at Stamford Bridge. Vinnie Jones, 6 months. Vinnie Jones, what a character. He was captain of the Wimbledon team known as the Crazy Gang in the 80s and 90s. The nickname was pretty accurate. Wimbledon were the Premier League's biggest pranksters. The football authorities let most of Wimbledon's antics slide, but they weren't pleased when Jones presented a video called Soccer's Hard Men, in which he gave advice on how to intimidate opponents. Jones was hit with a 6-month ban for bringing the game into disrepute. His chairman called him a mosquito brain, but the punishment was suspended for 3 years, allowing Jones to play on.